I'm Luke with Out of Darts. Today, we're introducing a new member of the Little Rocket family. This is Mighty Mama. Three, two, one, go! Yeah. The Little Rocket family has been really popular, and we've had a lot of fun with all of the different variants. Tarik has gone pretty much crazy with all the different options and barrels and ammo types. And the number one request we keep getting is, I want it to be more powerful. So he made it more powerful. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so this is called the Mighty Mama. Remember, all our names are alliterations. So this one has the Caliburn spring and tubing system inside. You can see it out here. We made a little window for everybody to view. And what makes this one very interesting, not only could it fire larger ammo at higher performances, but as you saw, we can have a rail version and a non-rail version. And the way we're doing this is we have this detachable Picatinny that allows you to mount it in 3 different orientations. So you got a Little Rocket and a Proud Papa all rolled into one Mega Blaster.
Now, obviously, it is considerably larger than the Crooked Cousin, but that comes with a lot of power behind it. Tarik and his wife Bree did a ton of work on actually optimizing and making sure that we could fire this. The biggest goal with this project for me personally was for it to fire Mega and for it to fire Triple Mega. Excuse me, Mega XL and Triple Mega. Because the Crooked Cousin and Little Rocket and Proud Papa really just didn't have the air volume to push. You can see the size comparison here. There just wasn't enough air volume there to push such a large projectile, especially with how inconsistently these are manufactured. Tell us about the testing process, about length, about all the different variations you went through.
Yeah, so we've done a lot of testing. So first thing we always do is the whole point about it is about performance. So what I did is I made the ugliest human thing I could, printed as fast as humanly possible, and I used parts actually from Second Wind. I used the rods and everything. I just reused the parts, and I was just checking at performance, seeing, okay, if you make the tubing bigger, what does that do? If you make the barrel length longer, what does that do? The length of the plunger tube, what does that do? And we found out that there's actually a limit that's been hitting. We didn't realize this, but these barrels, for instance, the Mega Barrel, you're going to get a performance increase for the Mega Barrel, but if you use an Elite or Short Dart, you're not going to get much performance difference because it's about tube length. So this is kind of interesting to learn. So with that idea, then we're like, okay, we want to fix the part. We don't want 3 bodies for Proud Papa. Can we reduce that? So I started working on a completely new type of clamping system. And so first thing you do is we make these little tiny prints so that we can just make sure this works. And then from then on, we start building the body. You can see here, each one is a different shape for the corners and doing different tubing systems. I know, for instance, one of the things with Proud Papa is that it's very thin. We had to make a very small plunger system. So this time we reinforced it. So there's a dowel pin that goes right through the entire thing. And then we plugged up the hole so it looks a little bit better.
It was a really fun process getting to hear from Tarik on all the spreadsheets of different FPS testings. They went through endless variations because every time you change one thing, you've got to test all the different barrels again. Every time you change the spring, you test all the barrels. You change the plunger tube, then you test multiple different springs again, and it's a cascading effect of a lot of data. But in the end, this is performing really, really well with that larger plunger tube. What was the final plunger length on here?
I think it's 70 millimeters.
So yeah, and that's what I cut for this demo. I think I was 1/2 mil short, but we'll get the jig figured out for that and should be good. So like we mentioned, this is the same plunger tubing that is used in both blasters like the Lynx, and it's used in, of course, the Talon Claw and the Caliburn. So we've got lots of that around because, as you probably heard, we were going to be offering all of the Captain Slug products since he's moving away. But because of that larger plunger volume, we got a major kick even with a Mega XL. And this also opens up other avenues of being able to do a Triple Mega, which I think is awesome. And we've got a 5-round Elite, or in this case, it's actually 10-round half darts. That's pretty awesome. just full. I like that. It's like you can't miss if you're close. Coming around a corner, just bam. I really think this is an elegant solution. One of the things we ran into with the Proud Papa is that because there are 4 variants, there's a handheld, a left, a right, and a vertical, it means that we've got 4 different variants to constantly print, and we've got 4 different variants to actually store for a single product. This has really simplified that, and it's a lot more elegant because it's adjustable. You can have those 3 different positions or use it in your hand, so you really can have it 4 ways ultimately. I think Mega XL is just a ton of fun. We've made these shield busters like the rockets of old, and ultimately I think this is a great way to add Mega to basically any blaster that's of, reasonable size. So if you've got a specialty zombie or specialty shield buster, you've got that option. This, of course, works with all of the previous existing barrels except for one. Tell us about compatibility there.
Yeah, so anything that has multiple darts is going to perform better. So your hyper is going to be performing better. Your triple, if you had issues sometimes with firing all 6 of the short darts, now you'll definitely be able to pump it out. Don't worry about that. So those are the positive. You Mega, you're getting about 10 FPS more, and we'll be throwing numbers up there for all these if you're interested, and there will be obviously on the listing as well. The one that is problematic child is the inline clip, as usual. So due to the increased air volume, you're not firing 1 dart anymore. You're firing 2, sometimes all 3 out this thing. So I would say that this is probably one that won't work with the Mighty Mama or our variances like Fate adapters. If you're not familiar, we made little rocket adapter for a lot of different blasters. So you can always try it for those. And so this one, it gives you a little bit of problem.
And we're going to come up with a matrix that explains what's compatible with what, whether it works, doesn't work, or is recommended, and we'll put that on the listings as well to make it a little more clear as to what. But pretty much it's just this is problematic with this one because it has too much air volume. And then the Mega XL barrel, while it can work with the Little Rocket and the Proud Papa and Crooked Cousin, it doesn't always, depending on the fit here. Sometimes there's just not enough air volume to fire that off. Like that one, which just went about not even 5 feet. So the Mega XL, we definitely don't recommend for the smaller plunger tube. Try it if you like it. If you get the right fit with like a specific dart, I found it can work because I did use that in a game. But really where it's at is increasing the air volume so that you can power through that massive projectile.
So I know a lot of people have always been requesting rockets, and yes, we did make a barrel for it. Now, the thing with rockets, and I can tell you from testing for months, and that's why you haven't seen it, is that each rocket is different. So some rockets are going to fire this really well, and sometimes the rockets are not going to fire well. So that's just a little disclaimer, but as anything else, you can just pop out that barrel in, hop it in, and this is a beefy prime, I should say, and then you get to fire off. And you're getting pretty good distances with it as long as the rocket is behaving. And that's just manufacturing differences. Sometimes even the same manufacturer will have different fits for their rockets. So one thing this whole system allows us to do is make very interesting barrels. So this is not a barrel that we're not sure if we're going to be selling or not, but this is a Y-hop barrel. If you don't know what this is, then welcome to the hobby. This is one of the oldest things, but yes, it is a twist cap. You can load 4 short darts in here, pop it in, and it'll fire. And like I said, it's a little bit temperamental. It needs a little bit more work, but if this is something everybody's interested in, we have no problem adding as an extra barrel to our system.
Yeah, I just had the great opportunity to play a good old SC&C old school game, all Y-hoppers and such. It was quite fun. I can see how when those came along, they actually dominated everything. Additionally, it's also worth noting that these new barrels, the Mega XL and the Triple Mega and the 5-shot, and the rocket are also great options for the Fate Little Rocket adapter. Here I've got the Fate. This is actually the stock spring, and that has plenty of power there. And if you go with the upgrade spring that we sell, you get even more oomph out of it.
So we mentioned before that barrel length matters. So one thing we did is, I know people love being snipers, so we created actually a sniper barrel. The sniper barrel is just a longer version for short darts. Now, we did try with brass and without brass, and I can tell you it made no performance difference. And if you don't believe me, you can look at the numbers yourself. So you're gaining 1 FPS for a lot of brass that you have to insert. So yeah, for those people that are interested in the sniper mode, you can add it for this, and you can add it to the Fate Blaster too. So if you want your Fate Blaster to fire even further with a short dart, I'll allow you to do that.
What kind of performance are we seeing on the normal spring for the Mighty Mama and sniper barrel?
So the sniper barrel for Mighty Mama is 140 FPS.
Not bad.
So you're going from 110 to 140, 115 to 140. So you're getting about 25 FPS improvements.
Pretty big difference. That's great. Additionally, there's another nice little Easter egg here. While this is a great Mega XL barrel, it's also a versatile barrel. The inside diameter here happens to be Elite. So what that means is you can shove in a single Elite or 3 short darts. And they do pack a punch.
And so now when somebody thinks you're out of megas, you actually have short darts in there.
Wait, question. Can I fire, you know where I'm going?
Yes.
Can I fire 3?
I have no idea what.
We're gonna find out right now. And then if it doesn't work, I'm gonna be sad. Okay, so this is 3 short darts, plus they're gonna be like inside it.
Yes, you're gonna fire inside.
Boy, let's see what happens. I pull the trigger of the Lynx. I saw it fly.
Is there anyone left in there?
No, they're all gone. It can fire 3 completely pointless darts.
The short dart,
they're still inside.
they're still inside the mega.
Hold on.
Wait.
Can I
Wait, I'm gonna get it. Hold on. I'll bring it back here. 2 of them. Okay, so that's really pointless because 2 of them are still inside the dart.
Well, in cases in your games, if these were shield busters, this also, I guess, takes out the player 2 behind it because you got the short darts in there.
I just like that as a backup, like double, because that's a pretty beefy 3 shots. I think that's gonna be my loadout of choice there. We hope you enjoyed this new blaster. I think this is a really huge improvement over the previous system. It's obviously a lot larger, so it doesn't work everywhere, but I'm really excited for this one, and I think it's gonna see a lot of more practical use. It's probably the most practical out of all the ones we've made so far, just given the performance and the wide range of ammo type and compatibility.
You can see with this new power, we can add some very funny barrels. So if you have an idea for a barrel, maybe you want a 10-shot barrel, 12-shot, I don't know what I can push it to, but we can play around. So let us know, what do you want? You want 5 megas being fired, 2 mega XLs, maybe it fires 3 different types of ammo simultaneously.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, instead of just lining it up like that, you have a short dart, 3 short dart next to a mega. Oh.
Sounds good. Thanks for watching. Let us know if you have any questions about the whole system, compatibility, or ideas for a different barrel type that we haven't thought of yet down in the comments. Until next time, this is Tarik, I'm Luke, and I'm out of darts.